The interest that follows when you stop chasing. Ever notice how people start paying attention to you the moment you stop trying to get their attention? It feels like a weird cosmic joke, but it's actually one of the biggest secrets of human nature. The harder we chase something, whether it's admiration, approval, or love, the more it slips away. But the moment we drop the chase, it often flows into our lives effortlessly. This isn't luck or a trick. It's a reflection of natural order, something the Stoics understood deeply. What did the Stoics teach us? That true control is not in others, but only in ourselves. Seneca said, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." The simple wisdom here is, when we stop living for someone else's approval or desire, we start living for ourselves. We lose ourselves while chasing approval. But the instant we drop that pursuit, we reclaim that internal freedom and power. We become calmer, more centered, and, yes, surprisingly more attractive. This isn't about indifference. It's mastering the art of letting go. It's trusting that what you seek will come through being, not through chasing. In this video, we'll reveal why people are drawn to you when you stop running after them. We'll explore how this Stoic principle of mastering your own desires will reshape your relationships and draw people to you. If you feel stuck in an endless chase, the answers are right here, within you. Ready? Let's dive in. 1. Stop wanting. When desire ends, attraction begins. There's a strange phenomenon in human nature. The more passionately we want something, the more it seems to retreat. In relationships, it's the same storm. Everything we desperately pursue seems to slip from our grasp. But the moment we loosen our grip, we suddenly find ourselves surrounded by what we once sought. This isn't a game played by the universe, but a reflection of our internal state. When we cling tightly to our desires, it's like a drowning person pushing away the very lifeline that could save them. We thrash, creating waves, and push what we want away. Our desperation turns into an energy that repels. Think about it. A wise person sitting calmly by a river, unaffected by the world's chaos, commands more respect than a fool splashing wildly for attention, right? The same applies to love. When we learn to find satisfaction within ourselves, we become the calm harbor in the stormy sea of desire. What did Epictetus say? The self-sufficient person is the most powerful. When we stop caring about something, the veil of desire lifts and we see everything clearly. This clarity draws others in. We appear to be guided by no need, and that is a major source of power. The Stoics knew that constantly wanting meant constantly being vulnerable, handing yourself over to the whims of fortune. But indifference? That means the integrity of someone who is no longer chasing. This self-sufficiency is rare in the world, and people are naturally drawn to what is rare and valuable. They seek the unshakable peace, the ability to need no one for happiness, which they perceive in us. Why are we attracted to those who don't care about our approval? Because that neutrality reflects the emotional freedom we also yearn for. We are like a calm lake, undisturbed by the winds. They want to be like us. We reflect the calm that shows nothing external can disrupt our inner peace. This is a paradox of human nature. The one who chases runs, but the one who stands still and is indifferent is chased. We stop being beggars. We become masters of ourselves, which, ironically, makes us more desirable in the eyes of others. 2. The power of withdrawal. Why the unavailable is valued. Consider the Stoic concept of preferred indifference. A relationship, for instance, is not the goal of life, but a preferred circumstance if it aligns with our virtue. Approaching relationships with this mindset means we aren't driven by a desperate need for the other person. We are not enslaved by them because we value our own happiness and self-mastery more than the temporary high of romantic attachment. Human relationships mimic nature. If you chase a deer too hard, it runs. If you leave it alone, it might return out of curiosity. The same principle applies to people. When we relentlessly pursue someone, they instinctively pull back because they sense a deficit, a need driving us. This creates discomfort and imbalance. So what happens when we withdraw our pursuit? We remove that pressure. The absence of desire gives them a chance to reevaluate and notice the quiet dignity in our withdrawal. They may start to wonder, why aren't they calling me anymore? And within that curiosity, the chase shifts. They start chasing us. The truth is, Stoicism is like a branch of modern psychology. When you stop chasing someone who has been running away, they pull back, especially when you become unavailable. This is where psychology comes in. Humans tend to value what is scarce or hard to get. When we remain indifferent, we become a rare prize that others feel they must work to win. This dynamic is universal, governing all aspects of human interaction, not just romance. By being unavailable, we create a challenge, a test of worthiness that they feel compelled to undertake. When we stop chasing, we become like a fire that no longer burns with consuming passion but with a steady warmth. People are naturally drawn to this kind of warmth because it offers comfort without the threat of being consumed. Our withdrawal gives others the space to approach us at their own pace. This makes them feel more relaxed and less threatened. When we stop caring, we demonstrate that we aren't dependent on external approval or affection. This self-sufficiency, this lack of need, creates an undeniable pull. They sense that we don't need them to complete us. And this creates a paradox. Because we don't need, we are needed. When we don't care, we become cared for. 3. The illusion of scarcity and discovering true value. When we intensely want someone or something, we often create an illusion of scarcity, both for ourselves and for the desired object. We act as if no one else in the world could fill the void we imagine inside. This perceived scarcity fuels our desires, making them more urgent. Yet, this isn't because the person has inherent value above all others. It's because our mind creates a perceived rarity. As long as we cling to the belief that what we desire is singular and irreplaceable, we remain in a state of lack and desire. The irony is, others sense this illusion too. When you act as if they are the only option, you create an unsettling tension, a sense of desperation that is unattractive. No one wants to be the sole target of another person's need. It's overwhelming and pushes people away instead of drawing them closer. On the other hand, when you release the illusion of scarcity and accept that many possibilities exist in life, you project a sense of abundance. You are no longer attached to the outcome of one specific relationship. This makes you more relaxed, more approachable. Others will sense that you are not desperate, and this will draw them to you. As Seneca said, life is not short, but we waste much of it. The same principle applies to our desires. While life offers us an abundance of connections and opportunities, we waste our emotional energy fixating on one thing we believe to be rare. The one who doesn't desire becomes rare in the eyes of those who are readily available. Scarcity begets value. This is a law of the market and human relationships alike. People often ignore what is easily obtainable, but the moment it becomes rare, they reassess its worth. In relationships, when we are too available and too eager to please, we unintentionally cheapen our value. When a shift occurs, what was once considered ordinary suddenly seems unique and precious. This is not a game or manipulation. It's a reflection of how people fail to appreciate the blessings before them until those blessings are no longer guaranteed. When we stop caring, we remind others of their mistake in taking us for granted. And with this reminder, they begin to see our value with new eyes. Furthermore, the act of letting go, of not caring, signals to the world that you are not governed by others' opinions or affection. This independence is a form of power. It tells others that we don't need their approval, that our happiness isn't dependent on their presence. And with this power, we become desirable, not because we desire them, but because we are free. People want what they cannot easily have, and when we remove them from the center of our desires, they often rush to fill the void we left behind. 4. Shifting from external control to inner power. The moment you stop chasing someone else's love or approval, you reclaim control over yourself. This act of turning inward and letting go of the need for external validation carries a powerful message. I am content with myself and the world as it is. You are no longer pleading for their attention. You are not chaining your soul to their whims. By doing this, you free yourself from the chains of dependency, For a Stoic knows that anything we beg for is theirs, not ours. Freedom from desire infuses you with a quiet strength, a composure that others find inexplicably attractive. When you demonstrate that you are unaffected by their indifference or rejection, you rise above the power they held over you. It is precisely this shift in the power dynamic that changes the balance in your favor. Those who once held dominion over you now perceive your independence and self-sufficiency, and this becomes a source of attraction in their eyes. People desire what they cannot easily possess. Chasing after what seems unavailable is inherent in human nature. When you master your desires and remain unaffected by others' fleeting impulses, you show that you are not easily swayed by the outside world. Your lack of need is perceived as superiority. They begin to want what they believe they cannot have, and thus, the act of releasing your desire for them paradoxically causes them to desire you. This is not a conscious calculation. It's a reflection of how people react to power, which in this case is not coercive but quiet, passive, and deeply rooted in self-trust. There is a very powerful lesson I learned from philosophy. A man is as miserable as he thinks he is. The same applies to desire. When you release others' hold over you, you cease to be vulnerable. Your indifference becomes your power, and their desire is the inevitable result. 5. Go with the flow. Dancing with fortune. Fortune, by its fickle nature, is known for changing its course without warning. Those who seek power, status, or the love of others must learn that fortune does not bow to human will. Like water that flows freely and ignores those who try to capture it, fortune cannot be controlled or forced. When we chase others, we try to fight the natural rhythm of life. Remember the metaphor of the dog tied to the chariot. We have two choices. Either we resist the chariot's power, struggle against the rope, and are dragged along, or we move with the chariot, keeping pace with the rope's length. We travel with a sovereign power we cannot control, finding joy and curiosity in the journey. What did Seneca say? Fortune leads the willing and drags the unwilling. If we have tied our control to someone else's shifting whims, to their love or our own desires, we have turned from a lover into a slave. True freedom comes from moving in harmony with changing conditions, rather than resisting them. If we try to force fortune to align with our desires, to make them love us the way we want, we will be miserable. The only thing we control is our own mind. If we fight something outside our control, we will never win and we will suffer. The more desperately we run after them, the more they slip from our grasp, like water escaping a clenched fist. When we let go, fortune may spontaneously flow toward us. In life, as in relationships, people are drawn to those who don't try to force fate's hand. When you stop exerting pressure, when you end the pursuit, others sense the absence of your effort and, ironically, begin to seek you out. Why? Because you show you are in harmony with the flow of the universe, not bound by their caprices. Those who constantly chase are seen as restless, unsatisfied, and needy. But those who have embraced the whims of fortune and accepted life's uncertainty are seen as wise and calm. Such individuals naturally become objects of desire, not because they are chasing anyone, but because they embody the peace that others unknowingly yearn for. Courage is often demonstrated not by chasing what we want, but by the power to let it go. This is a paradox, yes, but one that fortune itself respects. By releasing your desire, you place yourself in a powerful position, and in that moment of release, fortune may turn its face toward you, bringing with it the affection of those you are no longer pursuing. Never forget this. The important thing is not that things go well, but that we go well. 6. The power of self-sufficiency, the greatest attraction. As we delve into the mysteries of human attraction, we uncover a truth as old as philosophy itself. Real power and satisfaction come only from within. The Stoic ideal of self-sufficiency, Autarkeia, is not just a lofty concept. It's a practical approach to life that bears fruit in all our endeavors, including matters of the heart. Imagine two people. One constantly seeks validation and approval from others. The other stands firm in their own convictions, unswayed by public opinion. The first is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by the capricious seas of others' judgment. The second is an unshakable rock against the waves of external pressures. Which one do you think commands more admiration and desire from those around them? Recall the words of the philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig. By turning our gaze inward and nurturing our own virtues, we become a source of strength and magnetism. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies the belief in self-sufficiency, the idea that true contentment comes from within, independent of external conditions or relationships. When we chase someone, whether for their love or approval, we unintentionally signal that our sense of completeness depends on their response. This undermines the Stoic ideal of internal autonomy. A person who is whole within themselves, who needs no external validation, radiates a quiet confidence. This self-sufficiency is not arrogance, but the product of deep self-awareness and self-acceptance. When you stop seeking someone's attention or love, you show that you are content with who you are. You are no longer a beggar seeking external affirmation, but a sovereign over your own mind. When you demonstrate that your happiness is tied to your own being and not to others, people are naturally drawn to this power. You are no longer trying to fill an imaginary void with their presence. This makes your presence compelling. In a world where most people are dependent on others' approval, self-sufficiency is your greatest strength. As Seneca said, "He who is master of himself is master of the world." People tend to gravitate toward those who are content with themselves because they offer a sense of stability. When you stop chasing, you communicate that you are emotionally stable, that your peace is not up for negotiation. In a noisy world, this calm is irresistible. The less you need, the more others want to be around you. They are captivated by your internal equilibrium. 7. The power of purposeful living. Be busy, be magnetic. A quote from Seneca: "His moral letters truly changed my life. If a man does not know to which port he is sailing, no wind is favorable." In the vast tapestry of human existence, no thread is more vibrant or compelling than that woven by someone who lives with clear purpose and unwavering resolve. When we align our actions with our deepest values and pursue our goals determinedly, we become like a powerful river carving its way through the landscape, unstoppable, admirable, and naturally drawing others into our current. Consider the difference between someone aimlessly drifting through life, swayed by fleeting whims, and another who moves with intention, every step guided by a higher purpose. The first might attract temporary notice, but it is the second who truly captivates, inspiring both admiration and desire. The Stoics all advocated for living in accordance with our nature. A person's true happiness is found in doing the things for which they were created. When we discover our true purpose and pursue it, we radiate an irresistible joy and satisfaction. We draw everyone not just to us, but to the possibility we represent, a life lived with meaning, passion, and purpose. However, to embark on this inner journey and fulfill ourselves, we must make conscious choices about how we use our time. Time is our most precious resource, yet many squander it chasing people who are either indifferent or unavailable. Seneca frequently warned about the fleeting nature of time, writing, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Chasing after one person not only depletes your emotional reserves, but also steals time you could spend on personal growth, meaningful relationships, or pursuing your own goals. When you choose to stop chasing, you make a deliberate decision to reclaim your time and energy. This shift in focus allows you to invest in yourself and your goals, which not only benefits you but creates a ripple effect. People are interested in those who are passionately pursuing something meaningful. When you are fully absorbed in your own life, others notice. You're no longer chasing them, but you're also not available to be chased easily. This creates curiosity and intrigue. They may start to wonder, "Why can't I get their attention anymore?" And in doing so, they begin to seek yours. By redirecting your energy away from chasing another person, you realign with your own values and priorities. This act of refocusing sends the message that your worth is not dependent on one person's approval. Once your energy is directed inward, it becomes a source of personal power. Others find this power captivating because you are no longer expending energy on futile pursuits. Instead, you embody purpose and direction, which is far more magnetic than chasing someone else's approval. 8. The inevitability of change, the ultimate power of letting go. The Stoics were keen observers of life, including human relationships. Everything in life is subject to change. People's emotions, circumstances, and priorities constantly shift. Chasing someone in the hope of securing their love or interest is clinging to something temporary, something that will inevitably change over time. As Epictetus put it, everything has two handles, one by which it may be borne, and one by which it may not. Focusing on chasing someone is grasping the wrong handle, the one that leads to frustration and disappointment. When you stop chasing, you accept the natural flow of change. You no longer try to control or force an outcome. Instead, you embrace the unpredictability of life's tides. This points to wisdom. It allows you to let go of the need for certainty and embrace the present moment as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. This calm acceptance is both disarming and compelling. When you stop pursuing, you accept that everything is subject to change, including another person's interest or affection. You realize that chasing is ultimately a futile effort, as no one remains the same forever. Paradoxically, this acceptance can sometimes bring people back to you. When you show that you are unaffected by outcomes and understand the natural flow of life, others may find themselves drawn to your sense of peace and wisdom. You are no longer desperate for their love, and by doing so, you become a source of stability in a world of constant change. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a simple yet profound truth. You have control over your own mind, but not over others. The more we detach from the need for external validation, the more control we gain over our inner world. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the same way, true freedom comes not from chasing the unattainable, but from mastering our desires. When you stop chasing the temporary, you reclaim control over the permanent, your inner peace, your purpose, your life. The act of letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It shows that you understand your own worth and refuse to sacrifice it for another person's approval. Now is the time to stop chasing and start building a life that will naturally attract what belongs to you. Ask yourself, are you willing to keep draining your energy on something outside your control? Or are you ready to reclaim your power, stand still, and let the chase end? The choice is yours. But I promise you, when you stop chasing, you will find much more than you could ever imagine. Act now. Stop chasing. Reclaim your power.